Hey, Manolo. Hey, Jeremy. Taking just a second to get set up.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Happy Wednesday. How are you?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think we have any pre-submitted questions. It looks like she saw your registration and thought that would be a question, but there's not one.
Okay. Cool. So I think we'll get started. We have a couple people in. I three, Jeremy and Manal. Get us started. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. Were there looks like we have some questions coming in. Sorry, I'm just trying to set up my screen. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I see a question. Okay. So is there any way to set values on a XFA PDF form? From anonymous. So XFA PDF form, it's a type of XML form, right? For anonymous, I don't know if I've seen steps specifically for that. Maurice, are you familiar from that on your side? We could definitely take a look into that for you. Sure, there's we do have a few steps where we could change values from like a Word document, which is kind of taking in like the HTML from that Word document and replacing tokens on it. It's definitely something we could look into for you. On top of my head, I don't know if there's any specific XFL or XFA steps available, but it's definitely something we could look into. Looks like we have another question that came in. Is there any way to trim certain fields? And is there a way to restrict certain requests on a report using a security group? But now, if you're able to kind of join the
Hello, can you hear me okay?
the sound. Yep.
Awesome. So I just wanted to,
Mhm.
I have a field that have like a lot of space and I am using into the email and I do the March HTML template, but whenever I do it, it shows a lot of space. If you want, I can show you too real quick. It's just like,
Yeah, that would be great.
awesome. I just need to get up the space from there.
So we do have like there is a trim step. So let me stop sharing. Let's share.
Yeah, I still don't see the option. Usually I get like the option to share my screen.
Give me 1 second. Let me.
Oh,
make
okay.
it canvas real quick.
Thank you so much.
Also, sorry about that. I just got your pre-submitted question in, which is this question.
Okay, I'm going to share it real quick. So this is, oh, sorry. I'm trying to do it, but it's just not letting me. Okay. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep.
Okay, so like by the AP invoice, and then I have the Chisler's, I don't know how do you say that, but I see all this like space, and I just wanted to get rid of it. But
Okay.
if, and then up here, I'm just using it into the email template. So I have it set up.
So we're using a kind of start. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just using into the template. So this is the field that is giving so much space, extension data dot
I
unit
see.
model RFS.
So what we could do, this is for a subject. There's a few things you could do. Just to give you some reference, if you go into steps,
Okay.
there is a step for trim. So if you click on, or if you search trim, and just drag that in. Yep.
Okay. I can just do it like anywhere.
Well, just to give you some reference, so this step will kind of
Perfect.
trim any spaces in a
Oh, okay.
string. But that might not be the case that you want in here. Looking at your email, looks like there's a space like for, I guess there's a name. Your name was in the email, and there's a space. So like this might not be your best step for it. It looks like we might want to look more into excuse me, what's being saved on that variable to see if we can remove the space from there.
Okay, because it's
Mhm.
coming from the corporate directory, so I can't really
Mhm.
change anything into it. It's like, so I just go to my extension data, and it's
Yep.
it's one of the fields from the corporate directory. So it's like always been set up like that.
Got it. And do you know where we're actually saving this value, this unit model
Yes,
RFS? Because
I'm
I'm only
actually.
assuming that because if we're having a space there, it might be like we'll fix the space on the email, but it looks like the bigger issue might be that we have space in that variable that just might have to be fixed at the very
Okay,
beginning
gotcha. I have
of
it just,
saving.
I just have it on the form. So let me show you. Nope, that's the wrong form. I got 10,000 forms here. Sorry about that. Let me see. So actually, the main AP. So this is where it's just pulling. So I'm just using the vendor name, and then I populate this information by one of the workflows. So I get the vendor information, and this is the vendor name, and then it says string can be null.
Okay, and this is getting or get vendor data. Is that saving any information? That's just fetching it, right? So
Yes, just like
let's
a quick fetching step.
let's do this. Well, okay. So maybe we trim it here. We could trim it here.
Okay.
If it's coming in with the space here, you could use the trim for the name. But also if you exit out of here real quick,
Okay.
and then just go to your dependencies. I just want to see like where we're using this form and how that data is coming out. So I'm assuming we're using, it's either near flow or that copy main.
The copy main.
Okay, let's go into that flow real quick.
Okay, gotcha. It's thinking. Sorry. There we go. And then this is the form that I'm using right here.
Okay. And then where are we outputting that value here? So if you scroll down,
Mhm.
we must be outputting
The vendor name right here.
okay, the vendor name's here. And then how are we saving it to the extension data? Is that coming up after this somewhere?
Yes. So I just saved that into my process folder with the vendor name.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be txt vendor name.
And this is just coming in, yeah, as the actual value. Okay.
Mhm.
So the best bet will be like again, like if you have that space in your email, that means that space is just being saved on that value. So anywhere you're using that value, you'll see that space. So our
Mhm.
best bet from here is most likely using that trim step on that get vendor name, or using it in this process here before we save it.
Okay, gotcha. Because if I do it on the get vendor step, which is where I'm getting all the values from, so that
Mhm.
would be like the main step. And you mean this part, right, where I have the flow?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. So just enter the trim here, and then on the input it says whenever I add the trim, I saw that it said like input field, so I would just add the vendor name in there as input field.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. And then for the select from flow, rather than using that this name, I would just use the output value of that trim step.
Exactly. Yep. You got it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And would I have to do that for like both of them, or like output this on the here, or it's okay because it's already outputting up my
Yeah,
name?
because you have it on the create data, it should be fine. The failed create data is not taking in any variable, right? I'm guessing it's just a null or empty.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and do that. Thank you so much. And let me stop.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for letting me show you this, because it's so much
Of
easier to show
course.
it
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than
And you had the question around the reporting too, right?
yes, I did. Is it okay if I can ask it right now, or
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
okay. So one thing I was trying to do is, let me go back to one of my flows. Um
Oh, and just a heads up on that
mhm,
trim.
mhm.
If you're getting that variable from anywhere else, um, I would just check that. I see you have a few forms in here. I don't know
Oh
if we're
yes.
using that same process somewhere else, but if that's all of these forms are going into that setup process folder, so there might be another area where that's just being populated with a space, with spaces. So I would just look out for that too.
Oh, okay, because that main get vendor data, I'm just using in two forms.
Okay. So if you're using it in two forms and then and you update it, it should update it for the other. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. And then, so what I am doing here, I have like certain security groups where I send the email to,
Mm-hmm.
and on the report, what I want is like certain groups to be, they should be able to like fill out the form, but only certain groups should be able to see their request on the like the on the report. Does that kind of make sense? Like, how can I filter this by the
Can we see the actual report?
yes. So this is the report. I kind of like filtered it by the request type, but I was
Got
wondering
it.
if there's any way, because what my user wants, they don't want like vehicle equipment to be seen by this group, or like by
Mm-hmm.
this group.
I see. So
Mhm.
so these categories are just categories, right? Are categories on the request type, right?
Yes.
And how's this if you click on the gear, yeah, let's look at the report. This is
So
just a I guess the simple database structure
Yes.
or the, okay.
Hmm.
So our request type. One way to do it is using filtering.
Gotcha.
If you click on add filters,
Hmm.
you could create your own role. And what you
Oh.
should be able to do, just like how like we use visibility rules for actions,
Hmm.
you should be able to have access to the user as long as it's a real user in the system, right?
Hmm.
And they're associated to a certain group. You should be able to get access to that data and be able to set certain filters depending on that data, depending on their groups. So there's a, yep, rule filters. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. I'll just add that in and it will work exactly the same way. And how do I edit
So, yep,
this?
if you click on
Oh,
the
okay,
buttons, yep. So you could
perfect.
create a role, and this
Hmm.
should give you access to the like, the flow data of the current user.
Okay, gotcha. So for example, I can create a rule where it's like if this is a request type, don't show to this group or this group.
Yes, exactly.
Like a simple rule. But the only thing is like these are not like the actual people in the group. Well, there's people in the group, but it's like it's just a group name. I know
Mhm.
it's or do I have to do it individually with the person? Because like if I show you here, this is like the production. So this is how it is right now, and that's how the group's names are set up.
Assigned to, or this is assigning to an actual group, like a group in decisions, though, right?
Yes, and that's why I was
Okay.
wondering if I can do that in the report just to like
Mhm.
so just certain groups can see it.
Yep. Yeah. So since this is a group in decisions, you should be able to, like, when that user clicks on,
Hmm.
whatever the URL to take them to this dashboard, it should know that the flow data will be able to tell or know, that user's groups,
Hmm.
and you should be able to create a rule around, knowing that user's groups and knowing for that group, do not show this specific data.
Okay, perfect. And that would be here. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think those
Mhm.
were the only two questions I had. I really appreciate your help.
Yeah, of course. No
Thank you.
problem. Cool. You have any other questions coming in? If we don't have anything right now, I kind of could show a little bit. I'm not sure if any of our attendees are familiar with external truth tables, but we could kind of go over those if there's not any questions now. Let me share my screen. So just a quick lesson on external truth tables. I'm sure most of the people on the call have created a truth table before. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Confirm. Okay. So external truth tables, what they allow us to do, if I go into this truth table that I've created, what external truth tables allow us to do is kind of grab information. So if you think of a truth table as an actual table, like a database table, we have columns and rows, right? So what the external truth table allows us to do is integrate with a either decisions table or an actual external table outside of decisions. And that could be, a simple database structure, entity, any decision structure, besides any that aren't saved. But what that allows us to do is kind of use that table as our rows and columns in a truth table. And why would we do that? Kind of my best practice here is if you have a truth table and it, and you already have like 50 rows in it, and maybe even like 10 columns or more, it might be a good idea to consider using a external truth table. And the only reason I say that is once you start getting into those high numbers, it becomes very hard to manage the truth tables. A lot of information. Anytime you have to make a change, you have to go into the truth table and find the thing that you want to edit and save it. So when you get to that point, what you could do is create this external truth table. And what that does is, just like creating a normal truth table, you're able to create your condition. For this case, it's looking for this excd code where it equals a certain 3-digit value, and I want to output some information about that record. And when creating an external truth table, Decisions allows you to pick a data source. In this case, what I've done is created a simple database structure for this. So if I go back to my folder and look up this exdc structure. Actually, this is not the one. This simple database structure. So I created a simple database structure. It just has all of the fields that are associated to this thing, this object I want to apply conditions to. So I've created the structure. On the truth table, when creating, there will be a external data source. And if you click on edit, it's going to take you to sort of the report designer. From here, you'll be able to select your actual source. So that structure that I created, I'm able to pick it here. And then when creating that external or the external truth table, we're going to see that our data fields will show what was applied on the truth table. So you could see my main condition for this truth table is excd is equals. By default, when creating this truth table, this will show up, and you'll be able to enter the field that's associated to this. And in this case, this is associated to my excdis field. Along with the conditions, all of the outputs that are associated to this truth table will show, and they will show by default red when they are not applied to any field yet. So when you come in here, these items will be red for you to fill out what field it should be associated to on that simple database structure, or the table that you've created. And then once that is all set and you save it, the truth table will update with all the information that's associated to that table. What's great about this is around management. It's definitely, if you have more than 50 items here, it's definitely a lot easier to manage. What this also allows you to do when managing this is being able to create a dashboard where internal users that aren't necessarily admin users can come in and edit and configure this truth table without having to go into the role designer or being an admin. And this was kind of a big use case for a customer that I worked with, where they wanted to give their internal users access to this truth table, or to be able to tailor this information without going into the studio. There's definitely a bit more work around this, because you do have to, create a dashboard, create a couple of reports, and create your whole CRUD operation for creating new records, modifying them, deleting them, and uploading them if that's a requirement. But just like any simple database structure or entity, we can apply entity actions on these items, making it a lot easier for those internal users to edit this information and delete it or upload new if needed. So quick high level rundown using external truth table. It's very useful. There is a bit more setup to it. But if your requirements around your truth table is having internal users to be able to access and edit it, this is the way to go. And also just the ease, even as an admin, it's a bit easier to configure the truth table as well using a report and dashboard. Cool. Any questions around external truth tables? Awesome, guys. So for the anonymous user, if you're still up here, we'll look into the XFA PDF steps, if we have any, or if there's any workarounds to that. If not, this could also be a feature request that we could submit on our side. Well, I think we could wrap it up a bit early. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and I hope you guys enjoy your Wednesday and the rest of your week.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a good one.